In the annals of the Wild West, few names evoke as much fear and fascination as the Dalton Gang. But before their infamous demise in Coffeyville, Kansas, there was a lesser-known yet equally dramatic chapter in their criminal saga, their first attempt at train robbery. It was a night that would forever alter the course of their lives and etch their names into the dark tapestry of American outlaw history. Join us as we unravel the true story of the Dalton Gang's audacious, yet ultimately disastrous, debut into the world of train banditry.
Before we dive deeper into this gripping tale, remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Our story begins not in the dusty plains of Oklahoma, where the Dalton brothers would later forge their fearsome reputation, but in the seemingly tranquil farmlands of California. It was February 6, 1891, a date that would mark the beginning of the end for some of the Dalton brothers. Bob, Grat, and Bill Dalton, three of the notorious siblings, had converged near the small, unassuming town of Alila, California, now known as Early Mart in Tulare County. Their target, Southern Pacific Train No. 17, a symbol of progress and prosperity, laden with valuable cargo, and more importantly, cash. The Dalton brothers, particularly Bob and Grat, were no strangers to the wrong side of the law, despite their family's initial ties to law enforcement. Their older brother, Frank, had been a respected deputy U.S. Marshal, a figure of authority and justice. However, Frank's untimely death in the line of duty in 1887, murdered by Oklahoma whiskey runners, seemed to sow the seeds of disillusionment in his younger brothers. Grat, who briefly followed in Frank's footsteps as a deputy marshal, along with Emmett and Bob as his assistants, soon found themselves using their badges for personal gain, engaging in cattle and horse rustling. By 1890, their law enforcement careers were over, tainted by accusations and a growing disregard for the very laws they were sworn to uphold. It was this descent into criminality that led Bob and Grat to California, leaving their younger brother Emmett behind in Oklahoma, deemed too young for the serious life of crime they envisioned. In California, they planned to rendezvous with their brother Bill, who had a more respectable, albeit brief past in politics. Bill Dalton, unlike his brothers, had even served in the California legislature. However, the allure of quick riches and the thrill of outlaw life proved too strong, drawing him into the orbit of his brother's burgeoning criminal enterprise. Their grand plan: to become formidable bank and train robbers, a new breed of Western desperados. The stage was set on that fateful morning of February 6, 1891. As Southern Pacific Train No. 17 chugged out of Alila station at approximately 7:50 a.m., the Dalton brothers made their move. Bob and Grat, with a practiced agility born of desperation, clambered over the tender and into the engine cab. Their pistols drawn, they quickly subdued engineer J.P. Tom and fireman George S. Radcliffe, forcing them to bring the powerful locomotive to a screeching halt a short distance from the station. The air crackled with tension, the metallic hiss of the train's brakes a prelude to the chaos that was about to unfold. With the train immobilized, the focus shifted to the express car, the presumed repository of the train's most valuable assets. Engineer Tom and fireman Radcliffe were marched at gunpoint towards the car, their lives hanging precariously in the balance. The express messenger, a man named Haswell, was inside, his duty to protect the contents of the car at all costs. The Daltons demanded he open the door, their voices sharp with urgency and menace. But Haswell was no ordinary messenger. He was a man of courage and quick thinking. Haswell, refusing to yield to the outlaws' demands, extinguished his lamp, plunging the interior of the express car into darkness. This strategic move made him a difficult target, and with a repeating rifle, he began firing through the door, a defiant volley against the encroaching danger. The sudden, unexpected resistance caught the Daltons off guard. A fierce fusillade erupted, bullets tearing through the wooden panels of the express car. In the ensuing chaos, fireman George S. Radcliffe, caught in the deadly crossfire, was fatally wounded. His life, a tragic casualty of the Daltons' ambition, ebbed away on the cold, hard ground beside the train. The shootout, and the unexpected tenacity of Messenger Haswell, proved to be the undoing of the Dalton Gang's first train robbery attempt. Frustrated and unnerved by the fierce resistance and the death of the firemen, The brothers realized their plan was unraveling.
Bill Dalton, who had been holding the horses nearby, fired upon Under Sheriff Bennett of Los Angeles, a passenger who had bravely attempted to intervene. The outlaws, their hopes of a quick score dashed, quickly abandoned their efforts. They mounted their horses and galloped away into the California wilderness, leaving behind a scene of violence, a dead fireman, and a trail of unanswered questions. The immediate aftermath saw Sheriff Eugene Kay of Tulare County leading a determined posse in pursuit of the fleeing bandits. The trail led northwest, but the Daltons, for the moment, had vanished into the vastness of the landscape. However, the long arm of the law would eventually catch up with them. In May 1891, just a few months after the botched robbery, Bill and Grat Dalton were apprehended in San Luis Obispo County and charged with the crime. The wheels of justice began to turn, albeit slowly, in the rugged frontier. Grat Dalton's trial commenced in August 1891, and he was subsequently found guilty. However, the story took another dramatic turn before he could be sentenced. In September of the same year, Grat, along with two other prisoners named Beck and Smith, orchestrated a daring escape from the Visalia jail. His freedom, however, was short-lived, as he would eventually rejoin his brothers in Oklahoma for their more notorious exploits. Bill Dalton, on the other hand, faced his trial in October 1891 and, surprisingly, was acquitted due to a lack of concrete evidence. Many believed he was merely the lookout, a less direct participant in the violence, which may have contributed to his acquittal. The Alila train robbery, despite its failure, served as a grim prelude to the Dalton Gang's future. It was a baptism by fire, a harsh lesson in the unpredictable nature of their chosen path. Returning to Oklahoma, Bob and Grat reunited with Emmett and the gang, now more hardened and desperate, embarked on a series of successful train and bank robberies across the Indian Territory. Their criminal careers escalated, culminating in the infamous double bank robbery attempt in Coffeyville, Kansas, in 1892, a bloody confrontation that would ultimately lead to the demise of most of the Dalton brothers and cement their legend in the annals of the Wild West. Before we conclude, a quick reminder to comment, like, share, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime. Your support helps us bring more untold stories of crime and justice to light. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.